Alrighty, hey true believers, Englentine here. Not a lot of content on this one, but we decided, I'm here with Dalton the Authenticator.
Good afternoon, folks.
And we've decided, what the heck, let's make a video no one's going to watch and talk about the Oscars. Now, of course, it should be retitled the Will Smith Chris Rock Slap Show, because there's nothing else that happened. 3 hours worth of TV and nothing else happened, it seems like. And I get it, because there's not a whole lot to talk about when it comes to the Oscars, especially last night.
Mm-hmm. And I mentioned this last night when we were talking about the Will Smith controversy. If it were still like 1994, if there actually was a genuine sense of like meritocracy and a genuine fight as to, okay, all of these movies deserve to be nominated, which one of them is going to come out on top, we would still be talking about the Oscars. But unfortunately, sans the drama of Will Smith and Chris Rock doing their thing, and Jaden, Jada somewhere in the background instigating the whole thing, sans that, the awards aren't even about meritocracy anymore, so why should we care?
Well, that's actually what I went in with. Because if you remember, and I said this last night, I wasn't going to watch because last year's was so freaking political that, I mean, she opened up saying, hey, look, there was a right and a wrong way for a certain trial to have gone. And I'm like, come on, just talk about the movies. And
yeah, for real, are we doing this?
Yeah, in all honesty, the producers of the Oscars for such a long time now have been chasing an audience that they lost track. They lost track of the fact that all you have to do to gain an audience, and by the way, hello, Eloise, our audience for the day. All you have to do to get that Oscar audience back, quit talking about anything but the movies.
Yeah,
people who are watching,
and they will come.
People who are watching the Oscars are movie buffs. That is, especially if you're watching it from very beginning to very end, like I would,
It's our Super Bowl. It's basically a movie and film geek Super Bowl.
Exactly. Except for I also watch the Super Bowl, but more so, I look forward to the Oscars. I really didn't start watching the Super Bowl again until the Bucks were in it the first time around in 2000s. Before that, I would be made fun of because I'm like, I tell people, no, my Super Bowl is the Oscars. I love the Oscars, man. I would get made fun of, and I'll tell you what, you watch a whole bunch of men grab assing in tight pants for one ball, and I'll watch a whole bunch of beautiful women walking down.
We won't talk about my use for that particular.
Well, of course, yeah, but to me, the Oscars, at the very least, you get to see some gorgeous women in some gorgeous gowns. You know, I'm okay with that. But also, I'm a huge movie buff, always have been. And I did see a lot of, if not all of the movies that came out this year. And I got to say, at the end of it, my dog, and I knew that that my dog in the race was not going to win. That was Steven Spielberg's West Side Story. Of all the movies that were nominated, my favorite was that.
My dog in this particular race was Nightmare Alley. I loved Nightmare Alley. It was my favorite.
It was a good movie. It was a good movie. It was really slow though for me, so it didn't actually make my.
I think what is it for me is because Guillermo del Toro and I come from such similar backgrounds in terms of what we like. Like, he wrote a book literally called Cabinet of Curiosities, and analogizing his film career to like an old school 17th century Cabinet of Curiosities. And I'm like, this is exactly what I would do if I were a director. So like, I think that might be why I like Guillermo del Toro's work so much, is because he and I seem to jive in terms of our points of reference and stuff.
Okay. One thing I do think that we should do is get to it. Okay. I don't know how many of these categories we're going to talk about and the things that we're going to mention. I missed the first part because I wasn't going to watch it, and then I saw that I saw the Best Supporting Actress. Oh, goodness gracious. I've been flubbing up her name. Ariana DeBose. I saw that she won. West Side Story, all right, that's the movie, right? I love Dune, but I'm a musical fan, and I think Steven Spielberg really freaking nailed that. And I thought she was gorgeous in it. She was just wonderful to watch. Great dance numbers, the whole 9 yards. And so I was like, okay, I got to watch this. I got to watch. And, but I got to, what really amazed me was that award was like 15 minutes in before they even got to a freaking, a category. They had like what, a 7-8 minute monologue between the three hosts. They had a Beyonce number. Like, get to it a little quicker.
And let's not even talk about the host while we're at it, because Amy Schumer.
She did have one funny moment last night due to the slap. She comes out, she goes, I was getting out my Spider-Man costume. What happened? You know, because there's a very different vibe. I love the way she said that. That was a really good joke. Whoever wrote it for her, good job, you.
I mean, she can still be funny. It's just, I'm not sure.
I wish she would start, because I have never seen her be funny ever, except for that. I mean, it's just I never laughed at what she has to say. She's the very essence of what the distinction always is between a comedian and a comedian. Not to be mean about it, but Wanda Sykes, I thought, was funny a couple of times through the night, but oh my gosh, I will tell you what, Anna DeBoss in that red dress, it's like, are you sure you're gay, girl? Are you? Dang. Okay.
Can I extol the virtues of the straight man to you?
Yeah, she was very pretty. Actually, there were quite a few. Speaking of the hosts, I thought Regina King, but she's always kind of pretty. But yeah, it was. I guess we should move on, because I'm gonna sound pervy if I keep going on that particular. No, but I was really happy that she won, because I think that that West Side Story was a good movie. I think it got derailed because right before it comes out, Steven Spielberg decides to signal his virtue.
Oh, dear.
And he told people, this is the biggest freaking mistake any director, and he's the master of storytelling, but he tells people, you might not understand half of this movie, because he says, well, all of the Spanish speakers that worked really hard on my movie, I'm going to make sure nobody understands them.
But
that was it. He said he didn't put up subtitles because he did not want the English language to be above the Spanish. It's not above, it's on a line on the bottom. Okay, they are giving their hardest freaking the solid performances that we can't understand what they're saying. Granted, I will say we were able to get the emotion, but I think Steven Spielberg derailed that freaking movie so bad.
Steven, and I extend this rant to every pseudo-intellectual prick in Hollywood in this day and age. It is not a moral good to condescend to and alienate your audience. Okay? Very simple principle. It is not a moral good to condescend to and alienate your audience. Please, Hollywood at large, get this through your collective heads, please.
One thing I wish the Oscars, the people that win and so forth, would just stop is with the identity politics, because all I hear about is, oh, and she's a beautiful brown gay woman, blah blah. She gets up here and she gives a speech where she talks about how I am here just to show you that dreams come true. So were all of the others. You're not new to this, hon. I'm sorry, but you're not. You're not really crossing over a mountain here. Okay, people of your color have been there. People of your sexual preference has been there. It doesn't matter. But every time they say, oh, America is so bad, but for this one instance, no, there's so many one instances now. Stop mentioning it. Just say, let's say that she was a really good actress and move right along, because it won't be something that we could just accept until people stop mentioning it, until it's the mundane.
It's the Morgan Freeman thing of like, I don't want a Black History Month. I want it to stop being
racism was
focused
the
on.
question he was asked. How would you stop racism? Stop talking about it. Yeah, because all you're doing is bringing up the differences. But what they are actually doing is actually admitting, you know what? It's not that bad here, because I'm the kind of person that everybody's saying the good things shouldn't happen to, and look, good things are happening.
But they can't actually say that, because they have an ideological preoccupation with America and Western civilization all the way back to the ancient Roman Empire being haram, basically.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're listening to the wrong people, and they actually believe that crap. And I mean, I've been dealing with a guy. I noticed he deleted his comments, but there was a guy in my YouTube comment section about this very video, and he was like, "Well, I know if I'm being racist, and you want to tell me to go." And I said, "No, I really do think you are being racist, but I don't want you to leave. I want you to come on the stream,
defend yourself."
I'm an individualist, and I always will be. I don't believe you can monolith any particular kind of person, no matter what their color, no matter what their sexual preference. I'm sorry. But if you think in terms of, well, black people this, white people that, then
yeah, identities are not teams. That's the second half of the rant. Identities are not teams.
But that's how this kind of speech that she gives. Beautiful performance in the movie. I didn't like the speech because it automatically separated. Hey, Joe, what's up, Ed? What's going on? We're talking about the other stuff at the Oscars, even though I do have the background here. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't like the supporting actress speech. It didn't sit right for me. Another thing I noticed as we're talking audience, or talking Oscars, is that they decided that they wanted to cut the time short. It was one of the longest Oscar broadcasts last night, by the way. They decided they wanted to cut the time short. So what they would do is they filmed a whole bunch of the technical Oscars before the show.
Yeah.
And then they put them in the show during the broadcast. I was watching, I'm going, wait a second, they're not in the same room, because they were doing that. It looked like the lighting, everything was off.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is different. And so that's how it was. So if ever you saw, like, you came back from a commercial and was like, here are the nominees, and then it was automatically, they were just giving the Oscar up to them. That is what happened. That it was filmed early, and they were now they were just now editing it in. It was ridiculous. I thought, what a way to disrespect. And we're going to talk about something big, disrespect, a little bit later, but it just didn't sit well with me. Plus, it didn't help the Oscars, shorten the Oscars at all. Opinion, as far as the length of the Oscars, here's what I would say. Much like Morgan Freeman, stop talking about it. Look, it's going to be a 4-hour freaking run. That's it. You're going to be in for 4 hours. Done.
And again, how long is the average Super Bowl? Like,
well, yeah, both of them, by the way. That last night, they were only ever about 3 hours, but that's what this was as well. And maybe instead of not cutting down the awards, which we're here for, maybe it was maybe cut down on the stupid skits.
Yeah, the banter.
Yeah, the Regina King talking, trying to get all the single actors up in the.
For example, why in all hell were there 3 hosts? Couldn't you have decided on one?
My guess is because you need those 3 women to be only a quarter of funny of a Kevin Hart, maybe. I don't know.
Okay. Well, my standing theory is probably it has to do with the moral hierarchy of the progressive stack. We have to have a black woman because we can't just let the white woman speak for all the people. We have to have a mixed race Hispanic woman because we can't let the black woman and the white woman speak for all the people. So if we have 3 different kinds of women, then maybe we'll actually get somewhere.
Yeah, that's actually on the red carpet. Wanda Sykes mentioned that. Oh, we have 3 women hosts and 2 of them are women of color. And can we please have an interviewer brave enough to go, and how does that help? You know, and so what is the difference? Like, are you more funny because of your skin color? I mean, how's that help? I would love to have somebody pop that question out there.
And please note the implication of three women of various different kinds is accountable to 1 standard white male host who actually is good at his job, apparently. That's sort of the stealth implication if you really want to pad it out.
Yeah.
Put in mouth syndrome.
Yeah. By the way, I do remember. I'm kind of going through this and trying to see. Okay, what was it? What was it to talk about? One thing I do like, and I hope they bring back next year, are the reunions. It's the 18th reunion of White Men Can't Jump. So as presenters, they bring out 3 of the cast. I thought that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a cool thing that they did, because they did with Pulp Fiction, and they did with The Godfather, which I know this is just me, but they brought out Francis Ford Coppola and Al Pacino, and they brought out Robert De Niro. Do you see what the problem with that? It's the 50th anniversary of The Godfather.
No Brando.
Well, Brando's dead. If they brought out Brando, I would have been incredibly impressed. But they brought out Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro was in Godfather 2, not Godfather 1. So it's like, wait, could you get I know he's still alive. James Caan's still alive. Why not bring him up?
I think what it was is De Niro is a bigger name, and therefore, since we can't have a Marlon Brando, then let's put a De Niro in.
I'll tell you what, with the way they were walking, maybe it's because De Niro looked like the only one that could pick Francis Ford Coppola off the floor if he fell over. He was, and granted, come on, they're just getting old, but they looked like they
time is a cruel mistress.
Yeah, then they looked like they both lived. But yeah, that was one thing I liked, and I hope they bring it back. So, and I enjoyed the little banner between Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes and Rosie Perez as far as that movie's concerned. I got to tell you, though, what was next? I'm trying to figure, okay, what is the next category that they talked about? Because I don't have it here. I'm trying to go in order. I think it was who was it? Cinematography? I think it was. But the one that also, I guess the next one I want to talk about is, gosh darn it, they're going through commercials here, because I'm actually watching it as we go. Because they should
live reaction.
I know, right? They used to be, I used to be able to find these things, and they would be in order. Best sound and sound mixing and such like that are the ones that it seems like nobody gives a shit about or anything. So anyway, this is good. This is freaking riveting freaking radio here, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to find what's next.
We now return to your Oscar stream already in progress.
I know, right? Let's see. Best production design, and that was the winner, was Macbeth, which I think just looked awesome. After that was best film editing. Hey, I'm getting there. I found it. But okay, this one I didn't understand. Did you see Power of the Dog?
I did.
Oh, you said that with like, oh, yeah. I don't want to, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like it?
It was okay, but this is the other problem with the Oscars in this day and age. Mm-hmm. They're all very much designed to be Oscar movies.
Yes.
And therefore I just don't care. Like, what I find impressive is when a movie that's not designed to be an Oscar movie wins the Oscar on merit, like, say, a couple years ago, Joaquin Phoenix and Todd Phillips' Joker. Everyone in the Academy had their,
this is gonna suck. People are gonna want to kill other people.
Yeah, guns set on that movie, And yet, by sheer virtue of will and merit, it actually managed to win because it deserved
Mad Max Fury Road. Mad Max Fury Road a few years back comes out and just kicks all sorts of ass. Now, this is why, and I know you didn't like the movie, but this is also why I appreciated Dune. Because that was another one. You could tell because it was released in summertime. If they thought that Dune had all these good Oscar aspirations, they would have released it at Christmas time like they did with West Side Story. Now, of course, if you've got a Steven Spielberg drama, you're going to release it in Christmas because it's freaking Steven Spielberg.
Because it's Spielberg.
Yeah. And in all honesty, on paper, West Side Story should have worked. I don't know why people didn't rush. I do believe it's because right before it came out, Steven Spielberg said what he said and kind of derailed it.
Yeah.
But it
foot
really
mouth
should have
syndrome,
worked.
Mr. Spielberg, foot and mouth syndrome.
But instead, it ended up making it almost seem like a courtesy nomination, if anything.
Yeah.
But if you have not seen Macbeth, by the way, you have to check this movie out. Find out where it's streaming and watch it. First of all, as I said last night, there was just one clip shown of Denzel actually acting. Like you would see him walk through the fog and all that kind of stuff. It's a beautiful picture, black and white movie. But in this one scene, Denzel Washington buries all the competition. Denzel.
Well, I mean, he's freaking Denzel.
Yeah,
so one is not surprised.
Pick. He was my pick for best actor. I think he destroyed. I mean, it was just amazing.
You know what movie I was surprised? You know what movie I was surprised didn't get a single nomination? The Green Knight. I loved The Green Knight, and it didn't get a single nomination, despite being very like artsy fartsy and typical like Oscar fodder. I was surprised The Green Knight didn't get anything.
Yeah, I think that goes to the whole. It was released way too early. It really was. It's just that at a certain point, if you're released too early, it's just that the Academy doesn't know about you. They really don't. And then I do believe the next category up was special effects. And I was thinking, there's no way this is not going to Dune.
What were the other options?
Okay, you had I'm actually watching as we were talking, but I've also got it over here. So special effects. See, I got to search for it on the page. That's why I'm watching. You had Dune. Oh no, it wasn't Dune. It was, but that's what I was thinking. Dune, No Time to Die, Spider-Man, No Way Home, Free Guy, and Shang-Chi, Legends of the Ten Rings.
I'd say Free Guy wins that one.
Free Guy. Now, are you saying that because you don't like Dune? And
no, I'm not saying that because I'm not saying that because I don't like Dune. The fact that it doesn't deserve to win is part of why I don't like Dune, because it's the same washed out earth tone grayscale that we've seen in every other Christopher Nolan and Denis Villeneuve movie up until this point, and it doesn't fit a franchise that is focused on space acid that actually works in the sense of warped reality around it. So
yeah, well, it did win. I read the freaking list wrong, and I thought it won. That's why I was saying it did. But then I read this. It looks like it was saying that No Time to Die won. I was like, really? I don't remember that. But no, Dune did win. I thought it was a shoe-in. This is a shoe-in category because it seems like they absolutely created a new world, and it's a beautiful movie in my opinion. Obviously,
I would have liked to have said that I could have rooted for No Way Home, but the problem is most of the effects in No Way Home were half finished. So even if we were comparing to Dune at least finished its wrong-headed use of the visual effects it did have, whereas No Way Home was much more visually interesting, but was half finished.
Let's see. These guys come out and they talk about James Bond, the extreme sportsmans of it, to introduce the James Bond as an Oscar nominee. But look, of all of them, I thought Free Guy was okay, but it was more like, okay, you know what? Is for as bad as a movie this is, or or it was. Pixels kind of did these same special effects, not but 3 years ago. So it's not.
Though Free Guy is a much better movie.
Oh, Free Guy is leaps and bounds, but we're talking special effects.
Also better. It's also better than the Ready Player One movie. Cough, cough, Spielberg, cough.
Okay, it is a better movie than that too, but I enjoy that one. I got to tell you, it's definitely Free Guy, the Ready Player One, and then somewhere down here is Pixels.
Yeah,
I'm a guy who
the underworld of cinema is Pixels.
I love Adam Sandler movies, and generally, even with Pixel, I could put it on and enjoy it at a certain level. But Pixels has got to be at the lowest point. You know what?
Pixels enraged me. Is the problem.
We should do? You know what we should do? And I was thinking, what can I do with this channel? What can I make it a? I think we should do tier lists. I think that's it. Let's go.
Watch parties would also be a good idea.
Yeah. But I think that would actually be a little bit fun because I would like to talk about the best and the worst of certain actors and directors and such like that, like Adam Sandler, because I'm an Adam Sandler fan. I am not ashamed to say that.
I don't hate him. I don't hate him.
Some of the worst movies I actually enjoy. Okay, and then in the Oscars after commercial, we got the first song from Encanto, and that was the nominated song. We'll get to those when we're actually talking about the category. I will have to say another thing I'm a fan of is Encanto. I like the soundtrack. The movie is okay, but the young lady that was starring in Brooklyn Nine-Nine comes out, and it's like, come on. It's just gorgeous. I mean, come on. It's a very, very good night. Very good night for the straight men and the lesbians out there. But I got to tell you, this actually was one of my favorite performances, the Encanto performance. The dance was beautiful. That was between the man and woman. That was, and the band was sitting on this tropical forest kind of background. I thought this is as far as
it was really well done, and I'm glad that Lin-Manuel Miranda is kind of becoming Disney's go-to guy for songs, because I mean he's never going to be a Sherman Brothers or a Sondheim or anything, but he's pretty consistently good, and I've grown addictively fond of the Hamilton soundtrack as well. Where we're at it.
One of the things that was mentioned last night, and I have to agree, is they picked the wrong song. It's like they picked the one that they thought Oscar would go for, but a lot of people believe it should have been Surface Pressure, which is the song sung by the super strong sister of the family,
right?
And I think I agree on that. I like the slower song; it's fine, but and I get it. No, we don't talk about Bruno for as fun as it is. Doesn't stand on its own.
Yeah, they were expecting we don't talk about Bruno to be this movie's version of Let It Go or Moana's version of You're Welcome. Yeah.
But the song that I think stands by itself is Surface Pressure, because it could be relatable. It could be, this is a song about somebody who just takes the world upon their shoulders and tends to help more than other people more than they help themselves. So I get it, but neither here nor there. I got to give it up for the production design as far as Oscars are concerned, because more so than that overblown opening that Beyonce did, and definitely better than that cruise ship version of We Don't Talk About Bruno. This performance I thought was beautiful. Joe Rogers saying agreed. Surface Pressure should have been the song from Encanto. Exactly. He might have actually been the one that said it last night too. So
yeah.
Let's see, the one where he is his own twin sister is terrible. Oh, the Jack and Jill from Adam Sandler. That's god awful. I don't. I put that one on.
Okay, I actually have a story about Jack and Jill, because when I was like 17, we went down to Disney. And my brothers brought Jack and Jill as their movie to watch while we were on our way down. And when we got there, we were staying in a condo that my stepdad's mom had got. And they rewatched that thing so many times. Fortunately, I had the foresight to bring the 25th anniversary rendition of Phantom of the Opera at the Royal Albert Hall
Oh, that's nice.
DVD with me, so whenever they left the house, I could detox with.
So here's something, man.
Phantom, but I got way too familiar with Jack and Jill. It was bad.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the next thing that Oscars did. Do you know what this is? Okay, if you look at these three people, what does this scream to you? Live action Disney princesses. You have Jasmine in the purple gown. Then, of course, in the pink gown, you have the young lady who played Cinderella. And the actually very beautiful black lady in the front, the young lady there. That's Ariel.
Yeah, I can kind of tell with the like teal green.
Yeah, that's gonna be Ariel. I'm like, really? Why? You know, and that's not taken away from her. I'll bet she's very talented, and I don't want to say you know, that she's not. God bless her. I hope she has all of the successes. I'm pretty sure if I look, I've seen something in her in that I was praising. But
while we're on the topic, once again for the record, recast Ursula with Queen Latifah, please.
Queen Latifah, before you get McCarthy out there, please put Queen Latifah, Queen, you know what I'm saying, Queen Latifah in that role. You're right. Absolutely.
She did an amazing job in the stage version.
Yeah, and she really did.
And if we're gonna play the diversity game, black woman trumps white woman. So there.
Yeah, and she looks the freaking role. So this was when they did the animated films, and let me find this here, and we'll. I want to know, what did you pick for animated movies? Okay, here I'll find the. They don't have them on the list. I found they don't have them in order.
The only movie that I was really rooting for this time around was Nightmare Alley, so I didn't pay much attention.
Okay, so the nominees were Encanto, Luca, a movie called Flea, which is about I believe they're in Iran or something like that, and they're gay and they have this. Mitchell's versus the Machines, and Raya the Last Dragon, which should not be up there. I don't care if there were 5 animated films this year, and that they should have only nominated 4 and left Raya in the dust. That was
Soul was last year, right? Soul was last year, right?
Miran, yeah, that was last year. Miran,
okay, I was gonna say because I was mentally trailing back, and I'm like, wait, Soul, but okay, if Soul was last time, then fine. I did like Mitchell's versus the Machines.
That was my pick.
Yeah,
I watched Mitchell's versus Machine. I'm thinking, holy crap, this is awesome. This is a really, really good film. I think that Encanto is a soundtrack. It's an okay movie, but it mainly is that soundtrack.
I felt the same way with Moana too, actually.
I loved Moana, but the Greatest Showman, that movie that came out a few years with Hugh Jackman, I thought, what a mundane film with a great freaking soundtrack. I love that. That's the same way. But of course, Encanto ended up being the big
one. Because it hit all the buttons.
Well, it's that, I gotta tell you,
and it's Disney, so
okay. But then we've got something, kids, that we must talk about. This is definitely a topic. As a matter of fact, I'm going to stop sharing, and then I'm going to restart sharing. But this time, I'm going to make sure that I've got the audio, and we are going to watch what they did was they had these Twitter polls. And anybody could vote. So if you know, after the Justice League movie came out, these people came out, they'll release the Snyder Cut. And we got it. Good. Woohoo. So when they heard about these polls, we want to know what you think the most cheer-worthy scene or movie moment was. I actually saw the tweet where the Snyder people said, let's make sure we get we get Zack Snyder. And they decided that they would all vote for the same scene, and these are what they decided on. As far as this, to me, it would be the helicopter scene over the bullet scene. This should not be near cheer-worthy. Are you telling me there's not an action scene or a loser winning the big game that doesn't beat this song? This definitely. Assemble. Although I would have loved it had he just yelled it like a power moment. And this was a cheer moment when all three Spider-Men went into space.
Oh, hells to the yes.
Yeah, everybody was yelling for this one. But the Snyder freaking people won. And I got to tell you, when I first saw this movie, this scene gave me chills. When I saw this gave me chills. So yes, I agree with the Snyder people on this one. Good call. You picked the right scene to back. I'm very freaking glad that they stepped up. They did their thing, and we got the actual best cheer scene of last year as the number one.
Though, admittedly, if the Three Peters scene had won, I don't think anybody would have contested that. No,
I don't think I would have. I mean, I'm not enough of a shill for superhero movies anyway. But yeah, I got to tell you, that scene right there where he does that and he just starts running. And I got to tell you something. I never had a problem with the way Barry Allen runs in this movie, because you got to think that going as fast as he would, one stride would actually go further. And because he has this almost speed skater look to him when running.
He's also not a runner, so there's that. He wasn't a professional runner before he got his powers.
Yeah, that's true. But I actually like the way he looks like he's speed skating rather than running, because the surface doesn't have the same
surface tension.
Yeah. So I thought that was actually a brilliant.
It must feel to him like he's hydroplaning all the time, basically.
Yep. But I got to tell you, I was very, very happy with that. I was like, okay, good going, Snyderverse people on this one. Granted, in the next one, there was another scene that they showed. I think they were polling best movies. We'll get to it when it comes up. But it was ridiculous because the movie that they chose was not good, in my opinion, anyway. Yeah, we'll show it. But it was like, I think there was like, what was your best movie or something? But just the Justice League didn't count because it's a re-edited version of a movie that was already released.
Right.
So you couldn't put in Zack Snyder's Justice League. So they decided to go with Army of the Dead. And Army of the Dead sucked. The sad thing about that is that later in the year, they put out an actual good Zack Snyder movie based on that same universe called Army of Thieves, which if you haven't seen, you should. That is a good heist film.
I'm confused why Suicide Squad 2 didn't make it in there, because that was another really good movie that people just apparently slept on entirely.
Yep. Okay, next one was foreign film, and all honesty, okay.
Yeah.
I don't care. Oh, and here's another thing, and I'll pop this on with no sound, but we're also talking about, okay, you've got to rush through the frickin' categories, but you're giving us a walkthrough tour of the Academy Museum.
Skip.
Yeah. Also, I don't need to see exclusive preview of Buzz Lightyear. Now, this is supporting actor. And I got to tell you, I almost teared up because ultimately this guy is not him, but the winner. Oh, hold on. I guess I can. There you go. This is the deaf guy. I do like her presentation. She is, I think, Korean. I think she's from that. What was that? The movie with the people in the house. Starts with a P. Anyway, that's my brain working. But she goes,
Parasite.
Parasite. Last year I complained no one could pronounce my name, and then she's not a natural English speaker,
right?
And here she is having to read off everybody's names. I like the fact that she kind of went into
self-deprecation for the win.
Yeah, of course. You know what? Always, you'll have people on your side if you turn your humor inward rather than outward. So the nominees were Jesse Plemons and Cody Smith McPhee of Power of the Dog. Jesse Plemons was good. I didn't think that highly of Cody Smith McPhee. J.K. Simmons of Being the Ricardos was my pull on that one because I loved Being the Ricardos, and I think that entire cast deserves it. Then you had
and it's also J.K. Simmons, which is one of those you can't go wrong sort of actors.
Ciarán Hinds is in Belfast, which is another actor that you just can't go wrong with. And then Troy Kotsur, who of course we see is the winner here, and he gave a great speech. He really did. Of course, he's deaf, so he did sign language, and you had a voiceover and such.
Interpreter, yeah.
Yeah, but I thought it was a very heartwarming, very well.
Although to be fair, I've known deaf people who have learned to read lips. It's actually really impressive when they can actually speak. And I realize how condescending that might have sounded, but I just find it impressive because imagine not having the ability to hear but being able to pick up visually what people are saying.
Yeah, that is actually impressive. But no, overall, not much to say about this. As much as I would like J.K. Simmons to have won this one, if it were Plemons, Hinds, or the guy who won, I'm fine. There's like no really big dog in this race. I'm subscribed to this, and I didn't even know it. Rhaegar. This used to be my political channel, but I actually have a copyright strike on this. So if I say the wrong thing on this channel, this might actually affect all of my channels. I kid you not. And do you know why I got a copyright, or not a copyright strike, but a community strike? The reason why I got a community strike on this is because I reported honestly about an article that actually exists
in the New York Times.
It was Time Magazine actually, and it was about something that YouTube didn't want you to know about the beer bug.
Even though they admitted it.
So I have to find some way to change format on this channel if I want to do anything. And that's why we're talking movies instead. So there you go. All righty. Let's see. What do we got going on next up? I'm trying to go through all the stuff that happened. And let's see. Oh, they brought up Shang-Chi and Tiffany Haddish, and they gave the worst freaking monologue. I'm sorry, guys. I know there's better writers out there. There's definitely better joke writers. Ugh, this is...
What in all God's name is he wearing? Like
I'm going to say red vines.
What? Okay. Time for a little bit of the obligatory Queer Eye here. Bitch, please.
Okay.
Sorry. I know that's a very stereotypically gay thing of me to do, but as somebody who does regularly wear bow ties, sir, tell whoever was your fashion consultant on this particular award show that they're fired. You should not wear red ever again. Okay. Moving on. Sorry, I had to be a catty little bitch there for a second.
That's fine. Mia Kunis came out and she announces the next song that's going to be sung, and ended up being sung by Reba McEntire. And I got to tell you, this woman still has pipes.
Yep.
She knows what she's doing at the microphone.
Surprising anyone? I don't think so.
And then, of course, they did their, we'd like to have a moment of silence to show our support for the people of the Ukraine currently facing invasion, conflict, and prejudice. So they did their thing as far as that. I had no problem with it. It actually, I was a little bit surprised that they didn't ask to do more or something. And I got to tell you, for the most part, I really enjoyed the fact that up till this moment, there wasn't a lot of political talk. Maybe a little bit here, a little bit there, but they kind of kept it down. except for occasionally, hey, I like gay people too, or something like that. But overall, yeah, not too shabby. Alrighty. By the way, we're going over Oscar moments, and we're just giving them our take. I don't particularly care about live action short films, by the way, so I'm gonna go over.
Yep.
Yeah. But then we got, and we'll share this for this, the category for this part, and it is the best costumes. Which, here's the thing, I always go for what did they have to create from scratch? So when you're talking about costumes, I very rarely give a crap about period pieces, which of course I know your movie was nominated for this. The nominees were Cruella, Nightmare Alley, Dune, West Side Story, or Cyrano.
Honestly, I'm giving it to Cruella on this one.
That's what I said too. The reason being is because that's all about fashion. That entire movie.
Yeah, that's the point.
So if that didn't win, there's something wrong, especially considering some of the things that they came up with. And here we go. Just to give I'm hoping to get to the. Let's get to the presentation.
Like, I love Nightmare Alley, but the costumes were not the point of it.
Cyrano, which I thought, yeah, but we've seen it. We've seen this. We don't. Okay, Dune, great stuff, and yes, this was all created. It's not like they have it in a wardrobe house somewhere. Nightmare Alley, great look to it. Same as West Side Story. It's all in a wardrobe somewhere. So it has to be freaking Cruella, and yes, it was Cruella that won. I was happy about that, but I gotta say, I like the lady's speech too. She was very brief and she was very funny about it, but overall, I was like, next.
Although to be fair, we apparently have a atypically positive view of the movie Cruella in general, because if you actually go over to the Homegrown Tourist, the Disney Channel, where we talked about Cruella, we both gave it a very positive review, and I think a lot of people were surprised by it.
Yeah. I say Dune should have won. See, I can't argue with that. But for me, it was either Dune or Cruella. But when it comes right down to it, Cruella was all about fashion, and there are so many different costume changes between the two, and it's
between Estella and Cruella.
They did. That was the movie, and they did it well. So I'm not hurt by the Cruella win, and I did like the movie and a lot, which is kind of surprising. I didn't think I was going to. The amount of the live action Disney remakes that I actually like can fit on one hand. I mean, if I counted them up, and I think it goes 1. Yeah, maybe 2. You know what? I can say 2. Actually, 3. I think 3, because I do like Cruella. I did like the Jungle Book. But I liked Mowgli better, the one that was on. It was directed by Andy Serkis. It was on.
Yeah, that was on Amazon or Netflix.
Yeah, I like that one better, but I still like the Jungle Book. But and the one that I get in trouble for, meaning nobody ever lets me get away with it. I say the title, and no one just goes, "Oh, okay." They're always got to say something about it, and that's Dumbo. I liked the movie Dumbo, directed by
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton, thank you. The reason being is because it's not the animated movie. It is its own animal.
I thought it was fine, but given that it was Tim freaking Burton, I wanted it to go more bonkers. I wanted there to be a 20-minute pink elephant scene.
Yeah.
But instead, we got the bubble thing instead. And again, Dumbo is a fine movie and everything, but you tell me it's very similar to the Alice in Wonderland thing. You tell me Tim Burton is directing Alice in Wonderland, I should be feeling like I'm on acid by the end of the movie, and instead,
what? I actually forget that Alice in Wonderland is part of all this remake. It actually started off.
It was kind of the first one, unless you count the Glenn Close 101 Dalmatians.
No, that's way too far back. It's kind of like talking about Marvel movies and including Blade.
Yeah,
if you're talking about movies starring Marvel characters, of course you include it in the conversation.
Yeah, but no, you should be starting with Iron Man.
If you're talking about Marvel movies as in MCU, you start with Iron Man.
It'd be like including the Ang Lee Hulk as a Marvel movie.
Yeah, which obviously they don't, and it's the same thing.
I mean, now we have to include the Garfield movies and the Maguire movies into the MCU because multiverse.
There you go. The multiverse that would make the whole same thing. Okay, this is a true fact, and I got to tell you, I enjoyed the fact that he brought it up. John Leguizamo gets on stage, and he's announcing the song "We Don't Talk About Bruno," and he tells the story that Oscar is actually based on an actor named Emilio. Oh, he had it right there. Let me pop that in. But he was talking about how it was based on an Hispanic actor, although he said Latinx, and I will never use that term.
Nor will the rest of the Latin community whatsoever.
Yeah. And he goes on to say, modeled after a Mexican-American actor, and I hate those terms also, Emilio Fernandez in 1928. And he makes a joke that you've got a 13-inch Mexican in your hand when you're holding Oscar. So the song starts, and it's he introduces "We Don't Talk About Bruno," and I'm thinking this is where every kid that watches Oscars, like I did when I was a kid, was waiting for, because this song is what people are singing right now, right?
Mm-hmm. It's the new "Let It Go."
Yeah, except as it goes, they start making up they bring in this rapper. I have no.
They make changes.
Yeah, and then it becomes the worst freaking cruise ship version of "We Don't Talk About Bruno." Everything. I mean, look at this. Look at this. It's just, oh my gosh, it's so gaudy and it's so overwrought, and it's just. I'm thinking, you know what? I want Snow White and Rob Lowe back. That's what I thought when I saw this. It's so freaking cheesy. They changed the lyrics up. They bring in a rap artist. It's no longer the song that people love, and definitely that kids love from watching the movie.
It reminds me of in some musicals they'll make certain parts of the song spoken for no reason, and I'm like, but that's not the song.
Yeah, it just ended up god awful. I did not like that take on it at all. Please, by all means, can we get done with that?
Can we no longer talk about this?
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that performance. It sucked. Yeah. Don't forget Snow White and the Seven Dwarves coming out soon, which will now be Seven Giants. Yeah. I saw a dwarfish actor. I forget who he was talking to.
Peter Dinklage.
No. It was after Peter Dinklage said what he said.
Mm-hmm.
But this other actor, he says, I've been in the business for 30 years.
It's a dream of mine to play these characters.
Yeah, and that's what he was talking about. He goes, you just killed the dream of 7 actors. This would have been their doorway in. Not all of us can be Peter Dinklage. And he's right. There seems to be like 1, maybe 2 actors, dwarfish actors, that seem to be big in Hollywood at a time.
Yeah, there's Peter Dinklage, and then there's the one from Imaginary of Dr. Parnassus, whose name I can't remember.
Is he the same guy from Pirates?
I don't.
The bald-headed guy. He was also in Scrubs. But yeah, the seems to, and he comes out and he says, "Oh well, it's so insulting to dwarves." No, this is one of those roles that dwarves, being one of the 7 dwarfs, is actually a dream for some dwarfish actors. So why are you doing this?
It'd be like if they made a Frederick Douglass movie, and then any black actor who played Frederick Douglass got shamed for playing Frederick Douglass. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Which they're probably going to do now if they ever do decide to make a Frederick Douglass movie.
Okay. All right, adults. If you can name these people, you get extra points. They actually offered. Now, once again, they asked this. It's a band. They're called BTS. Well, yeah, it's right here in the corner. They're called BTS. They're a Korean band, and they took time out to ask them, what is your favorite movie? And I'm thinking, wow, you rushed through categories. You rushed through editing and all that kind of stuff.
But you
to ask a Korean band their opinion on this. So it's ridiculous. Then you had then you had the ladies come out dressed like characters. I think this is where Wanda Sykes actually got a laugh out of me, because she was wearing the short shorts from King Richard. Rebecca King, or Jessica, whatever her name is, comes out and she's dressed as Tammy Faye. And then we have this. You know what? From now on, from here on in, this is going to be the image we're going to be talking over.
What?
Amy Schumer in a Spider-Man outfit, kid. Yeah, Amy Schumer in a Spider-Man outfit.
Well, I mean, she's obviously supposed to be Spider-Gwen, but still, why?
Nope, she's supposed to be Spider-Man. Now, yeah. I saw that.
You know what? This might be a stealth announcement of the fact that she's going to be playing Spider-Gwen in one of the multiverse movies.
Which, of course, all of us have been clamoring for. Yeah, they come out and they do this skit. Once again, it was in no way, shape, or form anything that we wanted to see. And then they did, and I got to tell you, I like these little reunions. I don't care for this movie, but they did the Juno. Whoops, I picked the wrong share, didn't I? Bump, bump, dun.
Juno is such an overrated hipster movie.
Oh, and by the way, Elliot Page here is serious about becoming Elliot. I could show respect here, because definitely the voice is changing. The voice is, it's kind of down here. Yeah.
The only thing is, I wish she had waited until after Umbrella Academy was finished to do the sex change, because now I don't know where they're gonna stick Vanya in Umbrella Academy season 3, and I don't like, because she's actually like she's like my second favorite character after, of course, 5, because 5 is awesome. But yeah, now I'm not sure what they're gonna do with Vanya come Umbrella Academy season 3, and now I'm annoyed.
Okay, this was, by the way, best original screenplay. Belfast won. Kenneth Branagh gets up and does his speech. I have nothing to say. There's no comment on this. There's nothing. Sorry. Just nothing to say. But I got to tell you, I kind of feel pervy about the next award. I don't even know what it's for. But you know what? You're a gay guy. I'm just going to play this, and I'm going to see if even a gay guy will notice. And go. Do you see what I see? It's just I gotta tell you,
her breasts coming out unnecessarily.
I don't even care what she's saying. I'm not paying attention.
She's Jessica Rabbiting up a storm right now.
There is just, you know what? I'm waiting for the slip. I really am on this one. I'm like, okay. Wait. What was that? Did we? I mean, seriously. Granted, the woman is not a bad-looking lady anyway, but it was like,
no, like I said, she's Jessica Rabbiting, but still.
And Coda won for best original screenplay, which, okay, I'm fine with that. No, No, that was best adapted. And the other ones were Drive My Car, Lost Daughter, Dune, and Power of the Dog. Wouldn't mind seeing Dune, because they actually made it interesting for once. I do not like Dune. Ever since I saw the first film, it was just bad to me, so freaking bad.
And I am still on team. This version is the worst version we've gotten so far. So, yeah. I still think Jodorowsky should have gotten to make his Dune. His Dune actually seems like the kind of Dune that I want to see in Dune. But no, instead it's Denis Villeneuve and his lazy, I'm going to rip off Christopher Nolan for the 500th time today.
Blah,
aesthetic.
blah, 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 blah. You're just jealous because they actually made a good Dune for once.
Well, okay. Christopher Nolan makes technically proficient but soulless movies. Then Denis Villeneuve rips off Christopher Nolan. Then Chloe Zhao rips off Denis Villeneuve in The Eternals, which is the most cosmically weird franchise, or should have been, possible.
It should have been a colorful, big, loud TV show.
Yeah, it should have been what Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor Ragnarok did, turned up to an 11, but instead it takes what Thor Dark World did and doubles down on the dark, grim, gritty bullshit.
Okay, we're going to I'm going to share this as well, because once again, the Snyder Cut people strike. Top 5 movies of the year. By the way, Tick Tick Boom is awesome. Highly recommend it. I was very impressed with this film. And of course, everybody was in love with this movie.
You can't do that, huh? No. How on
earth? Anyway, I love that whole reaction.
It's glorious.
2 people in the world. I don't think they just went for the Snyder movies, because no way anyone is voting Minamata as a freaking winner. I don't think Twitter understood, or the Academy did not understand what Twitter was. Twitter is trolls.
It's cancer.
You may have 2 or 3 people per 1,000 that are normal people, but come on. So Minamata, this is a Johnny Depp movie that no one knows was out there.
Focus on the photo.
More to the point, no one knows that that's Johnny Depp when they see it.
No.
So
this is literally the first I am hearing about it. Literally, as we're speaking.
So in a Johnny Depp movie nobody watched, Johnny Depp is unrecognizable.
Focus on what you want to say.
It is pretty funny
now
that they did that.
Okay, at least he's not doing the faux English accent for once.
And I know some people have seen Cinderella. I watched the first 10 minutes of it and had to turn it off because
cringed horribly for the next hour.
I have never met anybody who watched this piece of crap and went, wow, that was a good movie. So this entire category was trolled. This entire thing, I
always assumed you were girls.
It was.
And why would
it was just 100% troll after troll.
Because everyone knows mice are girls and rats are boys.
And of course, the Snyder people had to make the Army of the Dead the big winner.
I mean, it was an okay movie, I guess.
It was okay, but I gotta tell you, man, seriously, they made a prequel to Army of the Dead, not but 6 months later, and it was called Army of Thieves, or they released it, and it was a good movie. It's a legitimately good movie. I like Maranya saying, "Wow, that's a real boob on the Oscars." Yeah. Oh, I see what she's saying, because they were in fact real. And they were spectacular.
Yeah, I was about to say, are you going to do the Terry Hatcher bit from Cypher?
Yes, I am. Are you kidding me? Because it fit. Let's see.
Unlike the dress.
Yeah. Okay, then I've got to say, I'm not going to share the sound because this will get me instant, but the next thing up, and I gotta tell you, I don't know what the hell a Billie Eilish is, but damn, girl can sing, and she sung the hell out of this song. So points to her. Seriously, I gotta tell you, I dug the performance. Good stuff. By the way, thank you very much for joining us, Joe, Maranya, Rhaegar, and whoever that. I don't know if Jim is the one that's holding in. If you clicked on this afterwards and you're still all the way up to this, thanks for joining us. We're an hour in talking about a 3-hour Oscar broadcast. Oh shit, I've got to stop sharing. God dang it. Just please click like, share. Hopefully we'll do some stuff over here you'll find entertaining, including changing the title, the channel's name multiple times. I'll tell you the reason why it's called what it's called in just a little bit, but there you go. All right, let's see what is up next. And we're just talking about things not the slap that happened last night at the Oscars, because we spent 2 hours on I Love Comics talking about the slap heard around the world.
And we spent maybe 10 minutes of that talking about the actual like awards themselves. And it was mostly me simping for Nightmare Alley.
Yeah, that was a good movie, but it was slow. I don't think it was a great movie. I definitely don't think it was a Oscar winner.
I don't think any of the nominees this year, quite frankly, deserved to win. But if we're playing the kind of the like B tier Oscars game, then I think of the ones we were presented with, Nightmare Alley should have taken at least 2 of the things it was nominated for.
This is what I'm talking about. When they would come back from a commercial, they do this bit and they show very brief clips of the movies nominated. This is in editing. And then boom, done. And you get the feeling that they're in 2 different rooms. These people, the stars that are there are not there. And they're speaking to empty rooms. Or at least they're speaking to not the entire place like they're trying to play off. And it just, I didn't care for that. It's disrespectful. And of course, we've come to the moment, which we, like I said, we spoke to quite a bit. Can't wait to see you in G.I. Jane, blah, 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 yada, yada. And you could see it. I don't know. Do we want to say any more about this? I have more to say, but it's going to come up later. But damn.
This is your brain on gynocentrism, ladies and gentlemen. That's basically all I have left to say about this. This is why you don't let the woman card dominate every part of your brain, folks. Because if you go, oh, he said a wrong thing about my woman, then this is what happens.
Yeah, this is the, I'm going to kind of fast track from here, because after the slap, it's just, it became all about the slap. But there's a couple of things. One, wow, these guys looked old. They really did. It's just, I mean, I know they're there. I know it's a legitimate, they're just ancient people now, but I actually couldn't believe how old Al Pacino looks, especially compared to Robert De Niro.
Cue the knight from Last Crusade going, you have chosen poorly.
Chosen poorly. Yeah. But I was like, I'm very happy to see you guys. Have a seat. Just sit down. Let other people entertain you. Well, watch it with a misogynistic comment. Not all women are as ball busting as Jada. There you go.
No, I'm just saying the woman. That was more an admonishment for the men in the audience of like, ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when you let the woman card dominate your thinking.
I got you. Yeah, it wasn't
when you turn off the frontal lobes and let yourself behave like a chimp. Then
whoa. Hold on. Okay, I know what you're going with here.
To be fair, all human beings,
no. You don't even realize what you did. Okay.
Primates.
Yes.
No, I know what it's going to sound like out of context, but for the record, when I say human beings are primates, I mean all human beings are primates.
Okay, yes, and we understand that, but you cannot say that. Definitely, please, no. Okay, you understand. You didn't mean it that way. We're going to leave it at that. But you cannot do that when you're speaking in context about black people. Definitely. because that has actually been a comparison.
Okay, fair enough.
Past. I know you are. I know you're speaking to what you're speaking to is the primal part of the human being, and that's fine.
Please engage your frontal lobes and your opposable thumbs, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm saying.
That's what you meant, but unfortunately, because in the past we can't actually make that comparison, and frankly, I don't want to. Acting like an animal would have been enough, as far as that's concerned. All right, let's continue. Okay, this is what I wanted to talk about. All right, and then we might drop off after this one because we've been on here for quite a while. But guys, I got to show you
before I say something else that's going to get us
before you get me shut down, right? Okay, now this is the part where everybody should have been absolutely silent and respectful, and they do this. They do this. You see it, right?
I don't, because the screen froze. Let me jump out and jump back in. I'll be able to see it then.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to keep commenting on it. This is the part where we are, where we're respecting the fallen, where we're respecting the dead, right? Do you see this as being respectful? Do you see that as being respectful at all?
Like I said, I can't see it, so.
Can you hear it?
No.
It's a chorus, and they start off with "Will you remember me?" as they're showing people who have died throughout the year, and then they pick up the tempo and they do a damn dance number in front of it. They're doing "Spirit in the Freaking Sky" for Christ's sake. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely the worst, most disrespectful thing they could have done for this particular. I can't believe what I'm watching here. This is so freaking disgustingly out of touch. How could you possibly believe that this is how you should honor the dead? Can you see it now?
Yes, I can see it now.
Okay, guys, I'm going to put you through it one more time so my boy could see it as well. Do you see it? It's just horrible.
What?
When Ivan Reitman,
they're doing a dance in front of it.
Parents gave him a
what?
This isn't about the dead. This is about the choir.
Of a boat to escape Czechoslovakia.
Like, did somebody slap a house on top of a witch or something? Is this the Lollipop Guild like dancing? What?
How is this respectful to the dead?
Okay, you might as well literally be singing "Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead" at this point.
It's ridiculous, man. Seriously. I saw this. I was like, I cannot believe they're doing this. I cannot. And then you get this person, they're not saying anything. And then they have those stupid testimonies, one by Bill Murray, and then Jamie Lee Curtis comes out and talks about Betty White. And I'm like, God, this is bad. This is just so freaking disrespectful. Honestly, I was shaking my head so goddamn hard.
Okay, I feel better about my rhetorical faux pas just now, because if this is their definition of respecting the dead, then I'm in the clear for what I just.
Yeah, that was god awful, man. That was seriously bad. Let's see. Anything worth it? Oh yeah, I guess. Oh, by the way, here's actually one thing that they might have to. Here's one thing. I gotta tell you, this guy stands up and tells the weirdest story. It's Kevin Costner, and you know it's written for him.
There's
yeah, but here's the thing.
Of the problem.
Here's the thing. Let me finish this. He comes up and he starts telling me, well, this is where I saw my first movie. And I'm thinking, wow, what a great story. It's just that Kevin Costner, somewhere along the lines, went from being, in my opinion, kind of like just a milksop kind of guy to a legitimately good actor. I don't know what happened, but it's like, oh my gosh, I think I'm a Costner fan. How'd that ever happen? You know, it's just one of those things. I think he gave a good speech here. And then I guess the other thing we have to address. And that's this
moment. I am overwhelmed by what God is calling on me to do and be in this world.
This is the worst. Can you hear this as well?
Yes.
This is the worst
Making this film
apology.
I got to protect.
He is like trying to come up
Ellis.
with
One
bad
of the most
excuses for hitting
It's
him.
not an apology. He's defending himself for
delicate
it.
people I've ever met. I got to protect Sanaya and Demi.
You didn't protect
The two
anybody
actresses
here.
that
You
played
you
Venus and
assaulted a
Serena.
dude. You assaulted somebody.
But I
Again, ladies
love
and gentlemen, some of us have thumbs and frontal lobes.
an award
Will,
for me. It's about being able to shine light on all of the people, Tim and Trevor and Zach and Sanaya. And
But you know what? You didn't, Will. Instead, you took the light away because I got news for you.
you brought them down with you now, but by including them in this diatribe is basically all it did.
On my Shadow Band channel, I Love Comics, the video that we did is now over 1,100 views, talking about the slap.
Dang.
And I said it's
Good
my
day for
shadow.
us.
I said it's my Shadow Band channel because I wanted to point out that I am not being shared around to a lot of people now because it's Shadow Band, and that's why I get low views for somebody who's got now 17,000 because people don't know I'm making videos. They're dropping off.
Mm-hmm.
This video and videos made by others that are straight up talking about the Oscars, that it's not going to be that way. If a channel like Critical Drinker I saw did a video called "The Slap Heard Around the World." You're welcome, Critical Drinker, for that phrase. Gosh darn it, I am the creator of everything.
You're the Nikola Tesla of internet banter.
It really is like that. Oh, by the way, and it's not new either. If you remember, a while back, we had Diversity in Comics go on Jim Jeffries, I think it was.
Yes.
And I'm the one that went, oh my gosh, he's got the same hairstyle as Captain Marvel. And somebody that was on the panel shared that out. And it was like, come on, really? You know, you took my joke. And it's like, yeah, that's been happening forever and a day. Actually, no, I'm the one who said it first in the chat. Oh, maybe that's it. You know what? Now I'm taking Marania's credit. There you go. I'm passing it back. There you go.
Well, we all know Marania is the real power behind the throne.
Of course. Yeah, I will never back down on that one either. But there you go.
This is known factors. If anyone is curious why Marania is the one in charge of the chat, it's because she is the real power behind the throne. All hail Queen Marania.
So yeah, the problem is, he says, I'm the protector, I'm the one that wants to shine a light, but all anybody is doing is shining a light on the slap. We wanted to talk about the Oscars and we wanted to have our conversation. That's why we did this video, because there were other things in our opinion that happened, and that's why we went through everything. Overall, I thought that it was a mess of a show.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't as bad as last year. Last year was absolutely the lowest point I've ever seen Oscar at. But them doing long skits while cutting up.
Yeah, I think they're trying to adjust to what the people want while simultaneously refusing to acknowledge what the people actually want.
Which is no politics, talk about the movies.
Yeah. Meritocracy in the nominations, if you please.
I actually like the clips because it's the movies. You don't have to go throughout history. As a matter of fact, I always wondered why they did that. Here's a retrospect of why Woody Allen loves New York. Okay, yeah, I get a good Woody Allen thing. That's fine. But really, how about here were other great movies this year, so forth and so on. The best of the action films, the best of the dramas, the comedies,
the best of the movies people actually watch.
Yeah, if you're there and you are celebrating movies of 2022, why don't you have these little clip thing.
Yeah.
Don't
But by the
Wanda Sykes and all that kind of stuff. Why don't you give me a little clip show telling me why I should, what movies would have been interesting to enjoy in 22, and do that. Actually celebrate the movies of 2022. Same in next year. I would
and same thing while we're at it with the nominations. Don't nominate only the movies that those filthy unwashed peasants will never see if we don't tell them about them. Nominate the movies that actually deserve to be nominated, please.
Like I said yesterday, unfortunately, the Oscars, it went from being best movie to the movie with the best politics. And of course, that means to the left.
Yeah.
It went further than that, because then it ended up being the movie with the most politics. Of course.
Well, okay. Think about this. Think about this for a second. If we put the shoe on the other foot, imagine it was 50 years ago. Imagine it was like 1950, 1960, and they had this same mentality back then. So instead of the most diverse movie, we get the most Christian movie as the one that wins. Everyone in Hollywood would rightfully be pissed off with that, because
you're stuck to the politics of the day.
Yeah.
Instead of the movie and sometimes yes, they did put in a movie that was of that moment, unfortunately, and that's when you look back and you go,
well, but what I mean is, before back in the old days of Hollywood, they didn't bring that up, even though everyone was assumed to be Christian. They still didn't judge movies based on quote unquote Christian themes, unless we're talking about like the Pureflix movies and so on and so forth. But now they actually are judging movies based on the social justice themes. And I'm like, just like, back in the day when everyone was assumed to be a tradcon Christian, you shouldn't judge based on morality and framework. You should judge based on quality. The same is true now. You shouldn't judge on morality and framework. You should judge on quality.
It's sad that everyone who got an Oscar, deserved or not, will be overshadowed by the bitch slap. Yep. All this, it really kind of, this whole politic thing shone a light when La La Land lost out to Moonlight. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, but
racism and gay. And then just I think the next year, it was when it was between it was between Green Book and Black Klansman.
Yeah.
Of the two of them, Black Klansman is the far superior movie.
The better movie, and it still has the like racial component. It just doesn't have the social justice component.
But it only had one. But Green Book, once again, gay and black. In all honesty, the same actor, so you would be making Moonlight win again.
Here's another great example, and I don't even like this movie, but I'm going to defend it in this one way, because it did bother me back in the day. Remember when Gravity was the movie du jour, and it like swept 7 different Oscars, but it somehow didn't win the Best Picture, and I'm like, okay, if it's better than every other movie in all of these ways that you've said that it's better than them, which I don't agree with, because I thought Gravity was a really shitty movie, but if you're going to say that this movie is better than all these other movies in all these different ways, then by default it is Best Picture. Like, if it has better direction, if it has better sound, if it has better technical stuff, then it is the Best Picture. If
you would think
that word is supposed to mean anything.
Mad Max Fury Road was nominated for like 10. I know it was nominated for double digits and won damn near all of them. But
it was all the technical awards.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. But still, that means that they made technically a great film. But for some reason, no. And that's, I don't know. I'm a weird guy in thinking that, you know what, Civil War deserves to be nominated because it had a great emotional story plus all the big special effects. This is a movie like Civil War, a movie like Mad Max is using all of the tools. Coda last night won. Now I know you don't like this, the film, but I'm going to push Dune again. Dune, just bear with me and pretend like it had an awesome script that you loved and blah blah blah. Because in my opinion it did, but great story.
So in my head, I'm now rooting for Jodorowsky's Dune. Okay.
great story, great special effects, great costuming, great score, everything. This movie was nominated because the people who doing the nominations, everything. What won? A movie about a deaf family. Good acting. Yeah. Sure. Great script. Okay. Yeah, I'm with you. But it didn't have the
it didn't push any boundaries.
Yeah. So but that's something they just don't count in picking the Oscars.
And
they never really did though.
It's funny though, because if you actually look at the history of the Oscars, the early Oscars actually had two versions of Best Picture. There was the best artistic piece, and then there was the best achievement in film, I think is what it was called.
Yeah, they
wanted, and that was your blockbuster boundary pushing type award. And honestly, I kind of would advocate us going back to that system, if anything, because it's the only way that movies that people actually like and watch are ever going to get any respect for some reason.
Yeah. All righty, kids, we're going to call it here. Back in the day, the studio Oscar system was that if one studio got the Oscar for 1 year, they couldn't be nominated for the next. That's
also really stupid.
I've got to go, guys. Have a good day.
Did he leave it live? He might have actually left it live. Damn.
No, seriously, guys, I've got to. I hit the wrong button. I apologize. I have got to go take care of something. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. You know all this stuff. Have a good time. Bye.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.